From struggling trainees sleeping on studio floors to becoming the first Filipino group to sell out the massive Philippine Arena 3 nights in a row, this is the story of 5 young men who didn't just chase their dreams. They rewrote what was possible for Filipino artists on the global stage. But what you're about to discover isn't just another success story. It's a testament to the power of believing in yourself when the entire world tells you to give up. Picture this. It's 2016, and 5 teenagers from different corners of the Philippines are about to make a decision that would change their lives forever. Josh, Pablo, Stel, Ken, and Justin had no idea that their individual journeys of rejection, doubt, and seemingly impossible dreams were about to converge into something extraordinary. They certainly didn't know they were about to create a movement that would put P-pop on the international map. Let me take you back to where it all began, because understanding their struggle makes their triumph even more powerful. Josh Cullen Santos was just a college student from Antipolo who spent his nights writing songs and dreaming of making music that mattered. Pablo John Nays came from Imus, Cavite, carrying the weight of family expectations while nursing his own artistic ambitions. Stelvester Ajero grew up in Las Piñas, his voice carrying melodies that seemed too big for the small stages he performed on. Philip John Susan, who we know as Ken, traveled from Cainta with nothing but raw talent and unwavering determination. And Justin De Dios from Quezon City brought an energy and passion that would later become infectious to millions. Each of them had faced their own rejections. Each had been told they weren't good enough, that their dreams were unrealistic, that Filipino artists couldn't compete on a global scale. But sometimes, when individual flames come together, they create something much bigger than a single fire. They create an inferno that can't be ignored. When Show BT Philippines, the local branch of the Korean entertainment company, held auditions, these 5 young men didn't just show up. They showed up with everything they had. But here's what most people don't know about that moment. Getting selected was just the beginning of the hardest chapter of their lives. Training wasn't glamorous. It wasn't the polished version you see in music videos or behind-the-scenes content. It was 18-hour days of dance practice until their feet bled. It was vocal training until their voices cracked from exhaustion. It was learning choreography so complex that they'd practice the same 8 counts hundreds of times. And through it all, they were living on hope and instant noodles, sharing cramped spaces, and wondering if they'd made the biggest mistake of their lives. Pablo later revealed in interviews how there were nights when he questioned everything. Josh talked about the financial strain on his family. Stel mentioned the physical toll of training. Ken spoke about homesickness. Justin admitted there were moments when giving up seemed like the logical choice. But here's where their story takes a turn that gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. Instead of letting these struggles tear them apart, they became the foundation of an unbreakable bond. When one member was ready to quit, the other 4 wouldn't let him. When resources were scarce, they shared everything. When the world seemed against them, they became each other's world. This wasn't just a group forming. This was a brotherhood being forged in the fires of shared dreams and mutual sacrifice. And then came the moment that would test everything they'd built together. In 2018, after years of training, SB19 was officially launched. But here's the thing about launching. It doesn't guarantee success. Their first performances were in front of dozens, not thousands. Their early music videos had hundreds of views, not millions. Industry veterans dismissed them as another attempt to recreate Korean pop success with Filipino artists. The criticism was harsh. They were called copycats, wannabes, a cheap imitation of something that could never work in the Philippines. But if you've ever wondered what separates dreamers from achievers, watch what happened next. Instead of changing their vision to appease critics, SB19 doubled down on their authenticity. Pablo's songwriting became more personal, drawing from their collective struggles. Their performances became more passionate, fueled by the determination to prove every doubter wrong. They started connecting with fans not through manufactured personas, but through genuine vulnerability and relentless work ethic. The breakthrough didn't happen overnight. It happened through countless small moments that built into something unstoppable. A fan here, a viral video there, a performance that left people speechless. Social media started buzzing. Comment sections filled with support from people who saw themselves in SB19's journey. And slowly, beautifully, a community began to form around these 5 young men who refused to give up. This community would later become known as A10, and their story is just as incredible as SB19's. These weren't just passive listeners. They became active participants in the group's success. They organized streaming parties, created fan art, translated content for international audiences, and most importantly, they made SB19 feel like their struggles had been worth it. The emotional connection between SB19 and A10 is something you have to witness to understand. I've seen grown men cry at SB19 concerts. I've watched fans travel across countries just to attend their shows. I've read testimonials from people who said SB19's music saved them during their darkest moments. This isn't celebrity worship. This is a genuine community built on shared values of perseverance, authenticity, and hope. And then 2019 happened, changing everything forever. Go Up wasn't just a song, it was a declaration. The music video showcased not just their improved skills, but their growth as artists who had found their unique voice. The choreography was sharp, the vocals were powerful, and the message was clear. SB19 had arrived, and they were here to stay. The song climbed charts, garnered millions of views, and suddenly the same industry that had dismissed them was paying attention. But the real validation came from an unexpected source: international recognition. When Go Up started gaining traction in other countries, when Filipino communities worldwide began sharing their music, when non-Filipino fans started learning Tagalog lyrics just to sing along, that's when everyone realized something special was happening. The momentum became unstoppable. Alab showcased their versatility. Ikako proved their songwriting prowess. What? Demonstrated their ability to experiment while staying true to their roots. Each release wasn't just music, it was evidence of their continuous evolution as artists who never settled for good enough. And through it all, they never forgot where they came from. Success didn't change their humility or their gratitude. If anything, it amplified these qualities. They started mentoring younger artists, supporting local talent, and using their platform to uplift Filipino culture on the global stage. Which brings us to the moment that still gives me chills when I think about it: the Philippine Arena concerts. The Philippine Arena isn't just any venue. It's the world's largest indoor arena. It's where global superstars perform. It's a stage that many international artists dream of filling. And SB19 didn't just fill it once. They sold out 3 consecutive nights, with over 50,000 fans each night, creating an atmosphere that was equal parts concert and spiritual experience. But here's what made those concerts truly special. They weren't just celebrating SB19's success. They were celebrating what's possible when Filipinos believe in Filipino talent. They were proof that P-pop isn't trying to be K-pop. It's creating its own identity, its own sound, its own global impact. The Simula at Wakas tour took this message worldwide. From sold-out venues in Los Angeles to emotional performances in Toronto, from screaming crowds in Dubai to intimate acoustic sets in smaller cities, SB19 showed the world that Filipino music has universal appeal when it comes from an authentic place. The collaboration with Sarah Geronimo was another pivotal moment. Here was one of the Philippines' most beloved artists, a multi-generational icon, choosing to work with SB19. Moonlight wasn't just a song, it was a passing of the torch, a recognition that P-pop's future was in capable hands. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of SB19's journey is how they've handled success with the same integrity they showed during their struggles. Fame hasn't changed their work ethic. Recognition hasn't diminished their hunger for growth. International success hasn't made them forget their roots or their responsibility to Filipino culture. They've become cultural ambassadors, introducing the world to Filipino creativity, resilience, and artistry. Every interview they do, every stage they perform on, every song they release carries with it the hopes and dreams of Filipino artists who now see global success as achievable, not impossible. The individual growth of each member has been remarkable to witness. Josh's leadership has evolved from quiet strength to confident direction. Pablo's artistry has blossomed into sophisticated songwriting and production. Stell's vocals have reached new heights of technical excellence and emotional depth. Ken's performance presence has become magnetic and commanding. Justin's energy and charisma have become the group's secret weapon for connecting with audiences worldwide. But they've never lost sight of what brought them together: the unshakable belief that dreams are worth fighting for, no matter how impossible they seem. Today, as SB19 continues to break barriers and set new standards for P-pop, their story serves as inspiration for countless young artists who see their own dreams reflected in this journey from struggle to stardom. They've proven that authenticity trumps imitation, that persistence conquers criticism, and that Filipino talent has a rightful place on the world stage. The impact extends beyond music. SB19 has inspired a generation of Filipino youth to pursue their passions unapologetically. They've shown parents that supporting their children's artistic dreams isn't naive. It's investing in potential greatness. They've demonstrated to the world that the Philippines produces not just covers of Western music, but original artistry that stands on its own merit. What strikes me most about SB19's story is how it perfectly encapsulates the Filipino spirit: resilient in the face of adversity, grateful in success, and always working towards something bigger than themselves. They've never positioned themselves as saviors of Filipino music. They've presented themselves as proud contributors to its global recognition. As we look toward the future, SB19's journey is far from over. They're currently working on projects that promise to push P-pop into even more exciting territories. International collaborations are in development. New tours are being planned. The next chapter of their story is being written as we speak. So I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me which SB19 song first made you believe in the power of P-pop. Was it the raw energy of Go Up, the emotional depth of Mappa, the cultural pride of Bazinga? Your story matters because it's part of their story. And if you're discovering SB19 for the first time through this video, let me know which country you think they should tour next. The Atin community is global, and your voice helps shape where they go next. This is only the beginning of SB19's global story. Their journey from sleeping on studio floors to selling out arenas is remarkable, but I have a feeling their most significant contributions to music and culture are still ahead of them. Don't miss what comes next. Subscribe and join us as we continue following the group that proved Filipino dreams can become worldwide realities. Because sometimes, the most powerful stories aren't about reaching the destination. They're about refusing to give up on the journey. And SB19's journey is just getting started. If you believe in SB19's story, if you felt their struggles and celebrated their victories, make sure to subscribe and join us for more stories like this. Comment your favorite SB19 song or moment below. And tell us, what country should SB19 tour next? Because one thing is certain, this is only the beginning of SB19's global story.